Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
Now, hello again, and welcome everybody to Diamond Dive Read with the most beautiful Susie.
Oh, shanks.
And yeah, well, me again.
The host with the most.
Host with the most, Big Rickster.
Ricky.
Alright. So anyway, today we've had some communication breakdowns and problems. So
Not between us.
Not between
just
us.
For the record.
Not between us.
But our internet.
Again. So
Yeah.
anyway, we've got a couple of retrogrades happening too right now. With Mercury in Virgo, it's
That one's going direct.
that one's going direct. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's going direct.
Yeah.
And Venus in Leo is going direct.
Yeah. And then we
We've got 5 in retrograde.
Yeah, 5 in retrograde last night. As like in last night's reading, we did say there was 5.
Yeah, and
But
6 at the end of the month.
6 at the end of the month. But we are reading on 3, which have to do with communications. So there's Mercury in Virgo with the logical, smart communications.
Yes.
And then
Yep.
we have Venus in Leo, which is the bigger, bolder expressions of that. What's it called?
The L word say
The
it.
L
You
word.
can do it,
You
baby.
can do it.
You can do it.
Yeah, that one.
Love.
That's it. That's it. Thank you, Susie. That word. Bigger, bolder expressions of. Say it with me. Love. Yes.
Yeah.
That is Venus in Leo. But then we have coming up towards the end of the month Mars in Gemini, where there's intense,
Even
control,
confrontational.
confrontational communication.
Mm.
Yes, so
It really is a progression, isn't it?
it is. It's very much a progression. So tonight we are going to be reading on progressive communications.
And hopefully our communication progresses with our internet. See,
Yeah.
we definitely feel the energies the same way as
everyone else.
As everyone else.
The collectives.
Even if it manifests slightly differently, it does express itself across the collective in different ways.
It does.
Yeah. So we are tonight. We're going to read on this idea of progressive communication. And I will read from the perspective of the divine feminine, as I normally do. And we do focus on, when we do these readings, of twins in separation. And we want to remind everybody that twins come together in waves. So if the information isn't entirely relevant for you right now, you'll be feeling some representation of these energies across the board. Hi, Charlie. Charlie's coming. A little black cat's coming for a read. Oh,
There it is.
he's actually joined the.
There we go.
Excuse me.
Hi, Charlie.
Charlie wants to play too. He wants to communicate as well. So twins come together in waves. So you should be, however this represents across the collective, it may show up slightly differently for you, but what we should start to be seeing is that there's an increase, a progression in healing, a progression in the way that these connections are being seen, the way that they're growing, and there's this real feeling that your dark side can't be hidden anymore. So it's like, and there's this common sense energy to it as well. And I was kind of saying to Ricky before, the way I read the energy is kind of like you can't hide a crush anymore. So if you were hiding feelings for someone, that probably under this energy, you wouldn't be able to hide it so much anymore.
You just want to run out there and tell them.
Yeah.
Scream it to the world.
Exactly. Those feelings are going to be magnified, and that's going to start to progress as we move on into September. And you're going to, like we said last night, you come into more clarity, more understanding, and this feeling of healing. Like you might have to lean deeper into your pain, feeling it to healing it. We'll definitely sort of look and see if that energy is still present. But it is this higher consciousness, higher goals, higher purpose, and this increase in potential for communication and expression, bigger, bolder expressions of love, and that you can't hide crush emotions anymore. like I said, I'll read for the Divine Feminine. We'll get Ricky to pull some cards for the Divine Masculine, and then we'll do some Divine Love Oracle. And we do focus, our point of reference is for twins in separation. But like I said, this energy will reflect if you might be further along in your wave of connection than somebody else. Twin flames they have a doctrine, they have patterns, but not everybody experiences them all at the exact same time. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Charlie is very keen to communicate tonight. We might just put him outside for a second, and let's get into this reading. Righto, what have we got? Divine Feminine. I feel like just one more shuffle in there until we sit it just right. It's a funny feeling, is like when you're a reader, it's like you just feel like you have to shuffle until you don't have to shuffle anymore, and then like your energy just right to draw some cards.
Wait, the cards tell you when to stop.
They tell you when to stop, which is about now. Knight of Wands is our first card out tonight. And we've got the Emperor. Yeah, look, I'm really loving this. Ten of Cups in the Soul Space. This is wonderful. The Justice card in our challenge today. Our advice from Spirit is the Ten of Wands. And our likely outcome is the Knight of Cups. See what I'm talking about? A bolder expression of love. The Knight of Cups doesn't hide his emotions. This is on point already, just as that quick look. What have we got underneath there? Page of Wands, Knight of Swords, we've got the Queen of Cups, the Fool, the Ten of Swords, and the Four of Swords. Righty-o. Let's have a look at these cards underneath the deck. What's our first layer of energy there? We've got the Four of Swords. This is not surprising with our, more intense communication coming in. And this is Spirit saying that they're going to start communicating more with you. This is Four of Swords is a meditative kind of space, or a rest kind of space. And these Four of Swords is knowledge that you can draw down when you're in that more peaceful scenario. And look at this, right? We're talking about more intense confrontational conversations. The Ten of Swords is coming to the end of a season of pain, and here starting on a brand new journey. So the 10 does really bring us to the end of this story. But I think what Spirit is really trying to say in this scenario is they go, what have you learned? What have you evolved? When you get into that more private space, when you get logical about what you're learning, when you get and you're looking at what you're doing with your higher consciousness, what have you actually learned? What have you actually achieved? This is a theme that's playing out because Saturn is it's in retrograde space at the moment, and it really does push for you to reap the fruits of what you've sown, the work that you've been doing. And with Jupiter in retrograde and Chiron in retrograde, that's a magnified healing as well. So for mine, this is a magnification of everything that you've been going through. Yes, your pain is going to serve you. We talk about this often in our readings, that you've got to feel it to heal it. And we did suggest last night that there might be another round of pain, like a purge and burn scenario of feeling the pain of twin flame separation. But because Divine Feminine is doing her work, she knows what to do when these feelings rise up. Because this is the 10, this is all the swords in the back, and it brings you to your knees. It gives you a moment where you might feel like you're stuck in the pain, but we know how to feel it to heal it. See this? Lean in deep. This is what the Chiron energy is all about. This Chiron retrograde, it's leaning deep into the pain. And it's like that process of getting you to, last night I called it a graduation, and this is kind of how I'm reading it again today, because the next stage of that, they want to bring you to the full. So it does feel like you're about to start on a new series of learning. We are going to get some knowledge in our meditation spaces and in our rest spaces. This has shown up last night. We had the Nine of Swords show up this way, which is, it does lean to more towards that disrupted sleep idea, but this one is more a determined meditation. So taking yourself more determinedly into meditation, more determinedly into rest to deal with these Ten of Swords that you've got in your back, these moments of pain that will bring you to your knees. And we want you to lean deep into the pain under this Chiron retrograde. And with Jupiter retrograde as well, that is going to be a magnified healing. And what is in your dark side will not be hidden anymore. It will be brought to the fore, and the outcome of that will be the Fool. That you'll be much more lighthearted. You won't be stuck in these pain cycles long term anymore, Divine Feminine. You are doing the work. When these messages come through, you're listening. When the pain cycles are rising, you're moving through them so quickly, and you go, righto, on to the next phase. I know what my destination is. I'm going to follow my feet as the Fool to my destination. I'm going to listen to my heart. I'm going to listen to the calling of the divine, and I'm going to get on with what I need to do. What's our next layer of energy? We've got the Queen of Cups, the Knight of Swords, and the Page of Wands. Queen of Cups, look at this, the most love you can feel in tarot. I'm not kidding. When you come out of this purge and burn cycle, Divine Feminine, and you get back on task with the Fool, these energies are going to move relatively quickly. Even though our retrogrades are much slower cycles, you're going to be in these processes of going slow and then going fast, which is going to, sometimes it's going to feel a little bit challenging. You're like, oh, I'm making all this great progress, and then I feel like I have to sort of rest for a second and go, what's coming next? But this is kind of like the next phase of the journey is going to be very, and look, see, this is kind of how I've got that playing out. The Queen of Cups is not in a hurry anywhere. She really does sit in this love energy, and she's, you know, this is the most pure cup of love that exists in tarot. If this is the Ace of Cups that she holds as her vessel, it is understanding self-love, it's understanding divine love, and it's understanding twin love. And when it shows up in the Queen of Cups energy, it's an outward expression of that love. Now, I'm talking about Virgo and Leo energy, and that is a current push that's coming through right now, and that is quite, you know, literally bigger, bolder expressions of love. It's craving affection, it's craving attention, and it is that outward expression that you won't hold it as a crush energy anymore. You're going to want to talk about it. You're going to want to have the conversations around what's going on with your emotions. Look at this, you know, communication is what it's all about in this reading. To have the Knight of Swords come around with the Queen of Cups, it really does you know, hit the nail on the head for what we're talking about. Logical, smart communication, bigger, bolder expressions of love. And this is more pure and more true expression of love than you'll find anywhere else in the tarot. Then what we've got is our little divine spark here, our Page of Wands, which is, you know, he is on an ascension journey, and we've talked about our Page of Wands as being a bit of a divine spark. So it's like, what I'm expecting to sort of see in this next round of this soulmate ascension journey is that you do have these, excuse me, these more intense and I know it's a page, but I'm feeling it as a little more intense than that. I'm feeling it as they are sparks of conversation. So if we're talking about these intense expressions of love, this one has a little more fire behind it. So it's not the full expression of it yet. I think we'll see that fire start to grow as the month progresses, but it's definitely a layer of energy that's exciting to me to see this Queen of Cups here, which says the push is to experience that true self-love, and to not just to sit on it. Like I said, if you had a crush, this is how that energy would play out. Is I feel this really intense love for someone, and it's really, really pure, and it's you know, like you can safely drink from that cup of love and nobody's going to get any poison out of it. And here's where you express it. You know, it's like it's where you don't sit on that information anymore. And Page of Wands is it can be that little bit of crush energy, but it's like it will not sit in the dark anymore. It gives it that little bit of spark. Because the Knight of Swords, you know, he goes ahead and he has a conversation and he is a communicator, but he doesn't necessarily stick. He's not a king and he's not a queen. He's a knight. He goes forth with more adventure in his spirit, and he's plucky and he's courageous, sure, but he doesn't necessarily stick around with the conversations. So it might be that you start to experience that. You know, it won't be just an inner expression anymore, because the Knight of Swords will bring that really pure expression forward out of the dark And this can be crush energy as well. It's something that somebody's feeling towards another person that's really pure, that they want to talk about. They don't want to sit on this energy anymore. And it is divine feminine. It's like, this is coming through as your energy. This is coming through as a push from the universe for you. But I kind of feel like it's what you're going to experience versus it's what you're going to do. But we'll dig into the reading a little bit more. I think you're going to start to understand that this crush energy is coming your way. I'm feeling it coming your way. Yeah, look, and I want to lean, I don't want to dive too deep there, but there's the Ace of Wands sitting on the top of these. I'm not going to dig. I'll dig all day. But the Ace of Wands is sitting at that next level of energy, which is really where that, this is what the page has in his arsenal. That's that divine spark and choosing a path of, setting it on fire. That's what I'm feeling, that bigger, bolder expression of love and affection. It's outwardly expressed, not inwardly. We do have, look, we've got the Knight of Wands here. Here he is. This push from the universe is to, again, it's an outward expression of inner desire. So that's not surprising that this is what's sitting as a direct push against you from the universe. Now, you've been through this phase, Divine Feminine, haven't you, where you've been told, don't express what you feel for your Divine Masculine. You need to go away by yourself and deal with it. You're told not to chase, not to go forth, not to venture out and express the desire that you feel for your Divine Masculine. So why then is the universe putting this push against you? There is another level of ascension that you're moving through, and we talked about it last night. And here, look, this is I think why we're seeing this Ten of Swords come through, because this push is going to come against you again. That desire is going to be alive and well and full. And it might cause you to have to lean deep into pain again. That's really how I'm picking this up. This may be that you receive communication that expresses desire on some level, but the Knight of Wands is not that stick around energy. So how I'm actually reading this is that it rises up. It rises up for you again, but you're very, very logical and you're very, very smart about what you do with when these energies rise up. Now, communication can come in for you from your Divine Masculine, and if it does, it really is to weigh up what that communication looks like. Is it pushing you into a space where you're going to sink back into the old chaser cycle? Is this spark that they offer enough to tip you back into chaser energy, or are you going to do what you know to be the successful path, and that is to meet communication where communication's at? So if your Divine Masculine is communicating with you, and not to pick on Ricky any more than we need to, but he's left the circus and he's not bringing let's call it rubbish communication to the table. If he's bringing healthy conversation.
Still run a circus.
Well, yeah. I don't even know where to go with that.
Got a couple of clouds to live with.
Present company excluded, surely.
Excluded, most definitely.
However this communication presents. So if it is fair and even and just, definitely engage in it. And this is why the Emperor is here, is because he makes sound and reasonable decisions, and this is how you're showing up in this world. Now, the Emperor can be a cautionary tale, though, because the Emperor can at times lack emotion, it might actually lead you to want to snap back. So you might have your Divine Masculine present and their heart is on their sleeve, and expressing that they've got crush energy towards you, and you're going, crush energy? Really? Crush. After everything we've been through, after all I've got through, the best you've got for me is
a crush.
A crush? Say what? So this energy can actually excuse me, lack a little bit of emotion. It can be it can shut people down when they're being vulnerable. So I would be really sort of here you've got the Queen of Cups, and that's the energy you'd really like to show up in. and try as best you can to meet their communication where it's at. If they're communicating with you in a healthy, I'm going to call it a viable way, where you feel like the exchange is a healthy exchange and that you don't feel like it's tipping you back into a space where it's going to put you back into chaser energy, or you feel like it's not serving your ascension, it's okay to put them back in the oven. It is. But what I'm being cautious of here under this energy is that it is the words that are shouting out at me are logical, smart communication, which is truly this guy. Here you've got a bigger, bolder expression of love. What the kicker is that we're moving towards the end of month of having a confrontational energy. So, and that's something to be very, very, cautious of. All the work that you've done, you don't want to step into a space where you step off your ascension path, because empathy for what your masculine twin has gone through is very, very important when they come back. It's like it takes a lot to put your pride aside. It takes a lot to get to a point where you can see them for who they are and not what they've done. And it's definitely something we've had to work through where we would definitely know that I've sat in Emperor energy a couple of times when I could have been Queen of Cups.
One too many times.
Yeah. I've done that.
When the circus used to come to town.
When the circus was in town, and it took me. I want to say it takes courage to make yourself vulnerable again, to sit in this energy and have empathy. But I do know that, and we've talked about it in past readings. We won't tell the story every time we do a reading, but there was a specific night when Ricky hit rock bottom. And he rang and said, I just need to come see you. I need to talk to you. I need to, we just need to work this out on some level. I don't know what's going on, but I'm hitting rock bottom on some level. And, these are the choices I had in that moment. Do I go, actually...
Alcohol didn't cut it.
Yeah. The old tricks didn't work anymore.
No, alcohol and drugs didn't cut it.
No. Yeah, and I had a choice to make. Do I sit in empathy for what he's going through and go, all right, I can be there for you? Or do I be Emperor and go, off you go, mother. You made your bed, go lie in it. And that is truly what you're going to be up against, Divine Feminine. Under this next cycle, if your twin comes back and they're not able to... if you can't sit in a seat of empathy for what they've been through, knowing the journey that you've both signed up to, it's really easy to want to cut them off and say, and I think this is why the Emperor comes through now, is going, can you find the seat of empathy? Can you sit in their shoes for a minute? If they come at you under this energy, which is how I'm reading this coming forward, is that it comes through as crush energy, not essentially understanding what and who you are. And the temptation then is to sit in righteousness, which is the Emperor has the capacity to do, because the Emperor knows all. He rules over everything in a very masculine way. And, empathy is not really his strong suit. Yes, he can be nurturing. Yes, he can be protective. But, I would suggest the Emperor can also be quite dismissive if the approach is not understood with, bring the Queen of Cups and the Emperor to the table together. Look, if your Divine Masculine shows up and they're full of rot, definitely go, you're underbaked, go back in the oven. But when they show up and they're very vulnerable, and it is a very vulnerable space to sit in, the temptation is to want to go, rub their nose in it a little bit, but if you can sit in the space of the Queen of Cups, I can say from my perspective, that was the game changer. That I could be vulnerable in that minute too. It was a very vulnerable space to sit in, but it's going, I can hold this space for you, and you look like you're ready to come out of the oven. You look cooked, not baked. You look cooked, not baked.
Depends on how cooked you mean.
You look the right kind of cooked. You look divine cooked. Sunbaked. Where are we going with this? Let's not.
What I was used to do is you could be cooked or it could be baked.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of the point that we're making here is, like, and we will lean in on that story and go, in that moment when he rang, I was like, I didn't know what I was, I was like, oh God, what's happened now?
On?
Yeah,
What's he on?
yeah, why is he ringing? What does he want? Like, am I gonna regret taking this call? And that's the thing to
Do
see.
you?
No, not at all. Not for a second. Not for a second. And I guess this is why I want to tell this story now, or give this information now, is because the way I see this energy playing out in the next couple of weeks is that Divine Feminine will be put in that situation that I sat in and go, do I be the Emperor, which is, you are bossing up. And I was sitting in that, I was fully charging on my path, doing my thing, all that kind of stuff, like to have to find empathy at that point was to put myself in a vulnerable space. So to see the Emperor come out here, knowing that we've got this Mercury Virgo, and then we've got Venus Leo, and then we've got coming up this Mars Gemini, where things can get confrontational. The Emperor is a warning in this point. Under that energy, the Emperor becomes a warning not to put yourself in a seat of being confrontational when somebody is making a bolder expression of what's going on in their dark side, and to be able to get into a space of logic does come into it, but it's going, I know the risk that I'm taking, and it's worth the risk in this moment to be sensitive and vulnerable on the chance that this is a breakthrough moment. So I think this is a cautionary tale, the Emperor showing up in this energy right now with what's coming forward in the next couple of weeks. I hope that makes sense. I hope, it's like it's asking Divine Feminine to, you're probably about, if you're not already in a cycle of purge and burn, which is what we've been seeing over the past couple of nights. And again, we've got this Ten of Swords sitting there suggesting that there's some work going on connected to pain that you've been through, and that you're leaning deeper into your story. So the cautionary tale is then, if Divine Masculine shows up, not to rub his nose in what he's been through. And Divine Feminine, I know that you're so capable of this empathic energy and finding yet another level of caring for your twin. You can, that's why you've done the work, because you understand separation and you understand oneness, and it's how you're able to find this cup of empathy one more time, and you keep finding it, don't you? I know, Divine Feminine, you keep finding it one more time. And what's in the soul space? Why do you keep finding it? Look at this. Because you believe in this connection. You believe that at the end, seeing cups in the soul space just sets my heart on fire. And the Ten of Cups is that glorious, it's the human side to being twin flames. It's when you come together. It's when you get to enjoy each other's company. It's when you get to do tarot readings together. It's when you get to live the life that's promised under this twin flame soul journey. And how do you keep finding this extra cup of love for your twin? Is because what you hold in your soul is this Ten of Cups energy of working together on mission for everyone who follows. We are carving the path. Divine Feminine goes first. We're the ones with the machete in our hand. We're cutting the jungle vines away. We're cutting the grass. Our Divine Masculines follow and join us, and they pick up the machete and they help carve the path alongside for everyone to follow behind us. But what we also know is this love that twin flames share is that it's not like any other love. And the cautionary tale is to continue to, where you're going to find your empathy is you're going to remember the love that you feel for your twin, and you're going to remember that the kicker of this game is separateness and oneness, and you know that you're never separate. This love is always there, no matter what the journey lays out before you, no matter what lessons that you're both going to face independently and separately. This is what's going to keep you finding that empathy and resisting the Emperor. Now, what it sounds like is that I'm pushing you back into chaser energy, doesn't it? I'm not. I promise you. You will have done enough work to know when your masculine is ready and in that vulnerable seat for you to be the Queen of Cups. If you need to still be the Emperor and say, sorry, this is still crush energy. Sorry, bro, you go sort that out. I'm still. Crush energy is not 10 of cups, because this is what I'm holding in my soul, in understanding that this is what my journey is. And crush energy, well, that can bring the Emperor on. Just, this is a cautionary tale because of the way communication is progressing, and this is what we keep finding for our twin. This is not chaser energy. This is not a devil. This is not, it's not Queen of Wands or those kinds of. This is Queen of Cups. She's pure of heart. She belongs in this scenario, right? So hold this as not a tale for me to tell you to start chasing again, but when you get to that tipping point, when your masculine comes back and you're going, do I talk to them? Do I not talk to them? Do I invest energy? Do I not invest energy? I promise you, I know exactly what that felt like. Going, oh my gosh, is this the tipping point? Is this where I'm allowed to give to this connection? Is this where I'm not a chaser if I talk to him? You know what I mean? It's like going, where do I find the tipping point of going, now this is coming into balance? And I think this is what we're coming to, and the next few weeks are going to be very, very pivotal with regards to finding the balance between being an Emperor and being a Queen of Cups. That was a big spiel, I know, but here's the kicker. What is your challenge? Look what the challenge is. It's justice. The challenge is to go, is this, justice isn't just like a legal process and somebody going, you're right or you're wrong. Justice is tied up with karma. It's tied up with, it's reaping what you sow. And the challenge is now going, all right, so you've kind of presented me with this expression of however it expresses itself, however you come across this Knight of Wands energy or this crush level energy, and you then have to sit there and go, am I going to act on it or am I not? Have I done enough work or have I not? Is this the return of my divine masculine or is it not? Justice is going to be your challenge. Believing that you're at the end, look at this, the advice from Spirit, believing that you're at the 10 of Wands, the end of the burden. Are you there? Are you there? Is this really what you've worked towards? Now remember, we've got Saturn in retrograde, and that is a return of karma. And what your challenge is to go, is that actually true? Has this karma actually come back around, and am I on the right side of it? You are going to see that things are on display now, like things won't be hidden, right? If there's crush energy to be revealed, it will be revealed. Logical, smart communication will be presented. And if you're not getting that, if you're not getting the bolder expressions of love, it can lean into that confrontational communication. And that's why this Emperor is a cautionary tale. The advice from Spirit is that you're moving into the 10 of Wands. What does that mean? That's the end of the burden. That's the end of the worst of it. Do I think you're going through a cycle right now? Yes. It's a purge and burn cycle. But what do you come out the other side as? You come out the other side as the Fool. So for the 10 of Wands to come in as this advice from Spirit, my suggestion to you is that you're coming to the end of the burden, which really does read in with the rest of that really, really nicely. So please hold that cautionary tale about the Emperor is if this presents, always look for the seed of empathy. If you can see the backstory, look for the backstory. When I say the seed of empathy, it's the backstory. Be prepared to hear why they're behaving the way that they're behaving and see if you can find empathy for it. Doesn't mean you have to dive right in. It doesn't put you back into chaser energy. Just see if you can listen for the backstory and have some empathy for it. What is the likely outcome? The Knight of Cups, the offer, right? This is what we're talking about, a bigger, bolder expression of love, right? Logical, smart communication. The Knight of Cups This is a beautiful cup of love. He's all about art and poetry and romantic. He's Mr. Valentine's Day. He is he is ready to deliver a reading. Knight of Cups. He is a genuine, bolder expression of love. I like him so much more than the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is a bit of fly by night. The Knight of Cups is a more genuine offer. So I think this is kind of what the cautionary tale is, isn't it? It's going, are you going to see your divine masculine in this light, or are you going to see them in that light? And only you are going to know from this discernment that comes out with the challenge of justice and actually believing that you're coming to the end of the struggle, which is, this is what this push is. You've been shuffling away there. What have you got for me? Have you got some cards for the divine masculine? And if you can we take the 6 off the bottom of the deck first? I want to see the bottom of the deck. Let's see what's at the bottom. That's the top. So let's go to the bottom. So here's that one. Thank you. All right. What have we got at the bottom of the deck? Yeah. I felt really compelled to go there and just see how this story is playing out. Look at this. I'm not even kidding. Right? The world. Right? Sorry?
That's the extra 3. Dead.
That's what's
No, we're not digging.
No, don't even make me dig. No. I'm happy with what I've got. Look. See this? The world. He's graduating. He is graduating. He's coming into the next level. Divine masculine is moving forward. Whatever lessons are being pushed against him right now are bringing him into this space of more understanding. And the world is a more outward expression generally. Like when we think about the world and how we're connected, it's, things like travel and I always look at the world as like how the internet works, that we're all connected with each other. And this bigger expression of who we are as humanity. But more than that, I see it as having completed the major arcana. Because here you've got the Fool here. You're on to, last night you had the World, and then you go from the World to the Fool.
Ooh.
Yeah. So look, he's only one step behind you in that level of energy, because that came through in your base level as well. You're the Fool, so you're on to the next phase. He's at the World. Oops, sorry about that. I'll turn that off. Sorry about that. I should have. Nobody normally rings me at this hour. Try that again. So, graduating. How are we graduating? We've got the Knight of Wands. I'm not kidding. Look at this. See? This, it's kind of, I was feeling it. This push from the universe is for him to make this step forward, this offer forward. Now, the Knight of Wands is still a little bit at the circus. I'll give you that. Like, he comes forward. It's probably more fly-by-night energy, but it's definitely forward progression, forward movement. It's a connection. It's a spark. It is fiery, passionate energy, which is what we've got with that Venus-Leo connection. We've got this fiery Wands energy of wanting to express desire, craving affection, craving love. And I said to you with this, I didn't feel like this is you necessarily, but something that was coming at you. And here is your divine masculine graduating into the Knight of Wands. Do we necessarily want him to graduate to the Knight of Wands? No. Do we? But last night, this was the push that he had, and this was the divine asking the masculine to get on mission, to get on task with what he needed to do. So, in this, I just want to say, in this crush energy, in this energy of going, I just want to express that I care about you, of not keeping my feelings hidden anymore. They should say it, right?
Say it.
They should say something.
Well, I feel like I want to say it. Say it.
Say it.
Yeah.
Express that.
Just
Don't
the
hide
communications.
it. Yeah, it's progressing.
Say my name, say my name.
It took a minute, but we got there. Okay, so
back to the reading.
Yeah. See, stay on task. Stay focused.
Communication.
The divine is saying that there's an action that needs to be taken. The Pentacles is about work. It's about mission. It's graduating into making an effort forward, into expressing what you're feeling. Now, on the next layer, look at this. Again, we've got a repeating message. Four of Swords. So I would suggest under this energy that he is making deliberate action to understand what's going on himself. Here we've got this one sword laying down. Perhaps this is a sword of clarity. Well, we've got these three, and last night we had the Three of Swords as being a motivating factor or a likely outcome towards that devil energy or to push that chaser energy. And here he's on his horse. He wants to chase. He's starting to understand that these three swords that went through his heart are connected to you, Divine Feminine. And that if he starts to take some action, if he can graduate into the next phase and he can start to express himself, those bigger, bolder expressions of love, that outward, smart, logical communication, you know what, he's probably scared he's going to walk into what's coming up, the confrontation for sure. He doesn't know if he's going to get the Emperor or whether he's going to get the Queen of Cups. He knows that both of them exist in you. He knows you're smart and capable and can take him down with a look. But he also knows that you can be there 1000% and that you're capable of this level of compassion and love for him. So the version that shows up is what he brings to you is what you're going to do. Again, a Page of Pentacles. The Divine is saying here, go offer the Pentacle. And we've talked about this many times, that the Divine Feminine has got her 9 out of 10 Pentacles. And again, the push is for the Divine Masculine to bring this Pentacle forward. Comes through as a page. Again, it's a little underdone, isn't it? We're still getting the knights and the pages, but it's a bigger expression. So if he's on the base level of trying to communicate, you're gonna want to feel like, I'm gonna shut you down, that's not good enough. But I think the push is gonna be, you're gonna start to feel like, I think there's more to the story. I think you're gonna feel more compassion, more empathy, and it's not chaser energy when you can open your heart with compassion, right? You're still doing your work, you're still moving through the pain. I'm not saying that the pain's gone away or that you have to stop working through what you've been through. What I'm saying is that when they show up vulnerable, when they're expressing themselves in a manner, even if it's small, even if it's baseline, if it's of the right frequency, if it's of the right vibe, that probably the best way to express it. If you're getting the right feeling around the communication, even if it's small.
The right vibe, the right energy, you need to be on the same frequency.
It's the right vulnerability too. That's the other word I want to use. If you're feeling the right level of vulnerability, to be compassionate in that moment is not chaser energy. So it's tough to discern the two. I definitely went through that. It's tough to discern the two, but that's going to be your kicker for the next little however you come out of this next phase. It's going to be some level of discernment here. And here I was saying, you're not showing up as the Queen of Wands chasing. And look, here's the Queen of Wands. He's going to be the chaser. That's what I'm picking up. This right? You can laugh. It's funny because it's true. Yeah. Look, this is one of
my running shoes and chasing. I love that. Yeah.
So that's what I'm suggesting, is that you're going to be feeling their crush energy or their desire coming towards you, because they're coming into some level of understanding of what the three swords through their heart, throat, crown. We keep seeing, that's how I keep seeing these energies present, and clarity will be the outcome. And here it's pre-harvest. So we are still, that's what I was saying to you, this feels like energy to come around, and I'm kind of leaning more towards in September, where you really start to feel the fruit of it, and the likely outcome is some level of an offer. That was just the base energies, wasn't it?
Mhm.
So, and then we've got the push there. What have you got for how they're showing up? Just really? Yeah, look, can't even make that up,
That's
right?
in your challenge.
Yeah, that's your challenge. Your challenge, and how they're showing up. You know, the karma they deserve versus the karma they get. That's what you're weighing up. When this comes back around, you go, what I really should do is blah 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 blah, right? What I really should do is behave like this and have very little empathy for your situation right now. And your challenge is to then go, well, the justice I'll actually dish out is the Queen of Cups. Not surprised at all that they'll come seeking justice, but not really knowing what they're going to find. What have you got as is this for the soul space? Yeah, look, here, get to work, divine masculine. Get to work on mastery. If you want to truly feel justice in this situation, or feel like you get what you deserve, that you if you now start to put your running shoes on, like Ricky said, and you're starting to realize that this divine feminine keeps haunting you for a reason, or keeps coming back around for a reason, and that you want to get to the bottom of what that is, you want some kind of justice on this scenario, you got to get to work. And the work exists in your soul space. It is that vulnerability. It is those expressions that we're talking about. And it may take an intense confrontational discussion to get you where you need to go. We will openly admit that those conversations have been intense. They have been confrontational, but it's where we got the most work done. Agreed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
It was like...
Confrontational ones weren't too exciting. They're just confrontational.
They weren't fun. They weren't fun, but it was the most vulnerable I think either of us had been, and it was where we'd done the most soul work for sure. Is, you know, putting that stuff out on the line, and you know, whatever justice was going to be dished out, we were both both there going, do your worst, but please do your best. Bring your mastery to the table, right? Bring your mastery to the table, and where mastery is for the divine feminine, it is the Empress for sure. But the Queen of Cups is a different energy as well. Queen of Cups is a very, very pure, empathic scenario to sit in. So when this comes around, bring your mastery, both of you, bring your mastery to the table. Challenge, defenses are down. Defenses are down, right? In this particular scenario, like this push from Jupiter and Chiron in retrograde is magnified healing. It's being on display. It's growing. It's your dark side can't be hidden, and it is finally talking common sense, right? This is healing on, I don't want to say crack, on steroids. Healing.
Crackers will be cooked.
It would be cooked. No, this is healing on overdrive. It is and because of that, the defenses are down. It's like it's like there's, what do I want to say? It's like it's an internal rebellion. It's like everything that they used to do to keep themselves safe and keep people at bay doesn't work anymore, right? It doesn't work anymore, and it's time to let the healing in, let the mastery begin. What have you got for some advice from Spirit? The Hangman, yeah, all right. And one more for like the outcome. There she is.
There she
is. Right? Here. All right, so
She's come to play.
She has come to play. There's the Empress, right? There's the likely outcome is an offer, and the Empress. Now, I love that she's in here, because look at that role reversal, right? You've got the Emperor showing up as the way that you're moving through the world, which I said can lack a little bit of empathy, right? But if this process plays out as it could, if everybody shows up in mastery, like I just suggested, you take this time for healing. You take this time for meditation. You process this Ten of Swords energy, and you can move into this energy of the Fool, where you're making a fresh new start, right? This Hangman moment is all about everybody taking that breather. Like I said, sometimes it's going to feel like things move really, really fast, like you've got fast-paced energy, and then you've got these things that go, now I'm going to put you on pause for a minute. And like I said to you, I'm feeling these energies really intensely now, like they're really fast-paced, but I'm saying, oh, they're probably going to come around early in September. So this Hangman energy, but the likely outcome, look at this, the Knight of Cups, receiving a very, very pure offer from somebody who's embodied Empress energy. Now, masculines can definitely embody the Empress. They can get vulnerable, they can get nurturing, they can get connected. Here, they can get connected to the universe, they can connected to Mother Earth, they can be connected to their feminine side, and this is what I'm picking up. How vulnerable is that to be as a strong masculine man, to put your Empress on display? That's so vulnerable. And it is, like, they might see it as a bit of a dark side, you know, grown men don't cry, grown men don't have these big feelings, grown men, blah, 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 on and on it goes, right? There's so much conditioning about the way men have to show up in these moments. But the current universal push, and here we've got the Empress with all of these stars connected to the universe on her head, this crown that she's got going on here. She's connected to the earth and very, very much knows who she is. So that feminine side is allowed to rise and it's allowed to be nurtured. So that is huge. And then there's a very, very pure offer that is here for the divine feminine. This is a beautiful likely outcome. You know, this is really, like I say, it's a what did I say before? It's like an emotional rebellion or an internal rebellion where you let the inner Empress shine, divine masculine. This is a beautiful, beautiful likely outcome for divine masculine. Okay, whoa, nearly knocked the whole table over. So, let's get to our divine love oracle. Who are you going to read for tonight?
Oh, I'm thinking the feminine.
You're going to read for the feminine tonight?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Who do you feel like reading for?
Yeah, I can roll with that.
You sure?
See, you let your inner Empress shine.
Darn it. Darn it.
There you go. You want to choose one for the divine feminine, and what have we got?
Bottom of the pool.
I'm not kidding. I feel like this is a legit thing, and I think this is why the Hangman and the Ten of Wands is here as well. There is something else to be learned at this point, and what I feel like it is this discernment. Honestly, I think it's going to be such a challenge if divine masculine comes back. And they're in this vulnerable state, but they only show up in this crush energy. I think it's gonna, you know, push you to new places of trying to figure out how the divine operates in that moment. That's where I'm feeling the bottom of the pool energy is. It might be a bit of a feel it to heal it moment on past pain, of going, really, you know, you show up now after everything that's gone down, after everything that's sort of the cycles that we've been through, and it's still, you know, like you, and it's going to feel like you don't want to have empathy. And I think that's going to take you to a place of going, why the freak did I go on this big long ass journey just to have him show up and I just want to reject? Like, that's going to be confusing, and it's going to push you into a new level of, I do want to call it a dark night of the soul, but I don't. I just feel like it's another level of understanding that you come through, and that the outcome of that is that you're on a new path of ascension with the divine. You look at your divine masculine with new eyes, you see their vulnerability, you can find the seed of empathy, but you still got to wrestle with all the crap that you've been through, and going, the world would look at me like I'm crazy to indulge this connection as a 3D relationship after everything that's gone down. After, you know, if the world looked in, they just go, no, you two, no. Stop what you're doing right now. This is not good. So it's like if you listen to the world, you'd show up like this, right? But then you've done all this work with the divine, and this is what you feel, and it can put you in this place where you feel like you just, man, I've got to lean into this pain one more time, again. Why do I got to lean into it? Why can't it all just be? Yeah. Why one more round? Why? And it can really, make you feel like you can't get oxygen for a moment. That you spin out of control for a little bit. And however that plays out, this is why I keep saying the Emperor is a cautionary tale here, going, if you rise up in this energy, particularly after, after we get to the end of the month, like the 20th of August is when Mars and Gemini start to dance. And that is when that confrontational communication can really take over. But there's enough other influences at play to lean into that will keep you sitting in that Queen of Cups seat. But this is why twins come together at different stages, is because free will is a powerful force. And you can lean on everything you've learned, and you can help yourself through these bottom of the pool moments by getting close to the divine and listening keenly to what they're advising you to do. Or you can just act out of your free will, act out of your ego, act out of any of those forces that have been hurt and that would seek to keep you in the Ten of Cups, or in the Ten of Swords, beg your pardon, until you're able to manage these wounds. This is a free will moment, and I feel like it's fast approaching. That might be a moment of challenge for the divine feminine. Feels appropriate. All right, let's have a look for divine masculine and see what we're going to draw for divine masculine. Oh, really? Do you want to draw one for the connection? Look at this. I'm not kidding. See this? I miss you. I miss you. I miss you. I miss you too. Right? This is not just I miss you. This is, and like you can see sort of how this has played out. I kind of created this card under the ideal that words create sacred geometry. So it's like as the energy leaves somebody, it starts forming structure out in front of us. And when a divine counterpart tells the universe, I miss you, it starts forming energy. Like I talk about the void a lot, right? You can look back to past readings. I won't dive into it every time, but I talk about the void a lot. And in between two twins, in the nothing, there is something, right? So here, you're sitting over here at the bottom of the pool doing your work with the divine, but divine masculine has felt the gap in the void, right? So what he started to do is he started to lean back into the void and into the nothing. He started to build something, right? I miss you. I miss you, divine feminine. I'm building something in the nothing to build our connection closer again. And at the moment, that's not enough to get you off the bottom of the pool and have even energy. It's starting to turn into chaser energy for mine. I miss you. I'm going to start to turn around and I'm going to fill the void. See this? In the nothing, there is something, and divine masculine is starting to fill it. If you don't understand the concept that I'm talking about, I'd be more than happy to explain it if you message me personally, or you can look back through our past readings where we explain the power of the void and what happens to split particles. If you can understand those concepts, you'll understand why this is such an important card to come out at this point in time. In the nothing, there is something, and divine masculine is starting to fill it with chaser energy. It's starting to come back around, which is why you're feeling this, divine feminine. What are you going to do? Are you going to hold ground and keep working with the divine and continue to work through this pain? Or are you going to go Emperor energy, shut it all down? Are you going to find empathy? What are you going to do? This is where free will gets so important. And tell me this is what you've drawn for the connect. Can't even make this stuff up, right? Twin flame guide map. What
Again.
are you gonna do? Again, yeah, it's consistent. Hey, this doctrine, right? It has its pattern, but is it the same for everybody? No. Will you arrive at your union at exactly the same time as everybody on your wave of unions? No. So this information, it will show up in your life. This energy will show up in your life in some way, shape, or form, even if it is not exactly manifesting as we are suggesting in these connections. But you will have an effect of all these energies, whether or not it's your turn to come into union or not. Now, this twin flame guide map, right? I literally just said to you, what are you going to do, Divine Feminine? You're about to come to some kind of a junction, right? Will you take the high road and be the Queen of Cups, or will you take the low road and be the Emperor and say, sorry, no, I can't continue. This guide map doctrine is there as signposts only, right? Don't hold strictly to doctrine, and don't hold strictly to the way that we're reading energy, right? This is an individual, independent journey, and it will play out differently for every set of twins. So just because somebody else's journey is playing out one way and yours is playing out slightly different, just look for the signpost. Just look for the traditional markers, because that's how you'll know where you are in your journey, okay? And they will have purge and burn cycles. They will have you feeling like you want to quit. They will have you feeling like you're lost. And then they will have you feeling like you know it all. Then the next day you feel like you know nothing. This is how these cycles play out. What you can expect though, if you are not in a cycle where your twin is going to start communicating, expect this to be represented where we've put your divine masculine. Expect the divine to take that seat. Like, you will get logical, smart communication from the divine. You'll get bigger, bolder expressions of love from the divine. You'll get intense, confrontational communication from the divine. You see where I'm going there? Your healing, your process, being on the display, being, you're growing, your dark side not being hidden, all of those things that I've just said. If it's not your divine masculine that's coming online in that capacity, expect it to show up under the guise of the divine some way, somehow. Okay, I hope that makes sense. For this twin flame guide map to come out, it reinforces that message in my head that all of us arrive here at different points in time and we find our own way differently. Okay, that to me feels like it wraps up this reading really nicely. I want to wrap it up with a big, expression of love towards everybody who's about to go through this next progression of the ascension cycle for twin flames. It's going to be a doozy. And then by the end of the month, we'll start to see the dust will start to settle.
Yes.
Clarity, it'll come into focus.
Hope that's helped a lot of our listeners and followers, and well,
I hope so too.
I think there's going to be a lot of decision makings coming up for a lot of people.
Yeah, on both sides.
What energy is going to be sitting in? Like the Emperor, I'm going to be feeling empathy, and oh my God, communication is going to be so interesting to see how people are going to be communicating in the next couple of weeks or months, and there's going to be some logical communications, and there's going to be the intense ones. Intense ones are going to be
They're a
doozies.
They're a doozy. We got you.
Y'all better strap in.
Buckle up.
Buckle up and make sure you're in the last 8 seconds, because when that bull box, you don't buck.
Hang on tight.
Well, anyway, I hope that the message has come across clear, and that it resonates with everyone. And again, as Susie mentioned earlier, feel free to message us personally if you don't understand, or if you've got questions, or if you want just
more clarifications.
Yeah. Feel free to message us on any other platforms. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, all of them, and we will have links for each of the social media platforms we're on in the bio below. And I think I say too much ands, don't I? And no more and then. Anyway.
Progressive communication.
Progressive. Anyway, from me, I shall say arrivederci, and
if faith, hope and love from me. It's bye from us for now.
Goodbye.